Welcome to Cowboys Not Eggheads. This is week 2 of me having the privilege of having some relatives on, but these relatives are unlike my last guest, who was born into the Fischer family, so to speak. These folks want to get into the Fischer family, so today we're going to talk about marrying into a cowboy family. So every time you say Fischer, you can substitute the word cowboy. Let's just play that game. But today I've got two guests. One is literally the newest Fischer. She was married 2 weeks ago into the Fischer family. We have my first cousin's wife, Vaughn, who was the most into-the-moment bride I have ever seen in my life. She's a funny, fast-talking, sort of a valley girl meets a millennial. And so she's not exactly cowboyish, but we'll talk about that. And then we have Steve, who's also the life of the party.
Can I just say I've heard that description of me before?
Okay, good. So I'm not off. We also have Steve, who's also the life of the party. He's a little more laid back than Vaughn, I think, which is remarkable. But he's a very, very likable guy. He's very entertaining, fun, and he's someone who I affectionately call English because he is from England, and he married my sister, Tricia, who's a Fischer. So he married into a cowboy family as well. So here we have two cowboys marrying into cowboy families. Now, I'm going to have to referee you two, I have a feeling, when I ask you questions, because you'll both probably go each other. So we'll start with Vaughn, and we'll follow up with Steve. My first question to you is, do you consider yourself an egghead, or do you consider yourself a cowboy? Vaughn, take it away.
Okay, so I feel like I'm being thrust into the cowboy category. I guess I'd be an egghead. I got my undergrad at UNL, and I'm graduating with my master's in public administration this May. But, 3 days ago, I was in 3-degree weather moving cows from one end of Valentine to the other across a dam. So I guess now I'm a cowboy.
Well, you are certainly got some cred because I've done that before, and it's not exactly something that everybody gets to do every day. While we're talking about it, Vaughn has got an Instagram page that he's kind of using as, I don't know, like the story to tell the transition of your life here. And so it's, was it GETWEHR, Get Wehr on Instagram?
Yeah, yeah, at Get Weird at Instagram. And I mean, I started it as just like a personal page.
It's GETWEHRD. So
yes.
Check that out on Instagram. I think you want followers, right? So you can make money someday or something, but kind of like me.
I don't want to make money, but I'm going to say is I gained a following because I just video everything we do, and everything I do is wrong. And then I think it's funny later, and I'll post it, which my husband absolutely hates because he's like, Vaughn, you're doing wrong. And I'm like, I know, isn't it hilarious?
And it is hilarious. Like, you tell him it's real, it's genuine, and it's part of the process. So he can just chill out.
I mean, I got lost coming back home from town for like 2 hours the other day, and I Instagrammed about it. And he was like, that was scary, and we didn't know where you were. And I know, but now I'm fine, and it's fine.
Okay, so my Valley Girl egghead is gone. What about my English Brit? What are you, a cowboy or an egghead?
I'm in the middle. I'm a hybrid. Let's call it a hybrid while we're at it.
You're my astronaut? Astronaut. You're halfway there. If you're half and half, you're an astronaut.
Yeah, that's exactly what I feel. My school life was not very good. I didn't graduate into higher education. I went straight into the workforce. And at that point, I just lived my life as it came to me. It wasn't until, I'd say, my early to mid 30s that I decided to get higher education. And at that point, I'm gradually going into a bit of an egghead mode. Let me tell you, in England, an egghead is described as someone who's a mathematical genius. We have a term called, it's a boffin, BOFFIN, boffin. And that certainly was not me. I got my family background. They were all born and raised in rural countryside. When I was born close to the big city of London. So I had the half and half going on. the astronaut, as you put it. But yeah, it's
interesting. You're a blue collar. You're not a white collar guy. You're a blue collar guy. You've always worked hard for what you've got. Your family's always worked hard for what they've got. Not that eggheads don't, but you're probably a little tougher than an egghead, certainly, just from your upbringing.
Yes, I agree that. Yeah, thank you. That makes me feel good. But the
Cowboy accepted the astronaut.
You know, if I can make the cowboy world, which I tried to do by joining the Fischer clan, I think I've made it there. At first, I was not quite accepted into the cowboy world.
No, whoa. Okay.
I always remember my.
Okay, tell me why you weren't accepted in the cowboy world. Who didn't accept you in the cowboy world?
My father-in-law, in fact. Trisha was my wife Trisha. My wife Trisha, she said to me, she was very nervous about introducing me to the family. Very nervous.
Did Trisha give you the briefing on JB?
Yes, she did. Don't take anything personal. It's just the way he is. So obviously, I was nervous about the whole situation. My way of life is, I feel like I'm a tough guy. You know, I get nervous, but in the end, I just say, you know, fuck it. I'll just go ahead and face the music and dance. And that's what I did.
Interesting. Now, Vaughn, I'm going to bring you in here because Vaughn comes at it from a different angle. She actually knew her husband's parents before she knew her husband. She actually knew Morgan's parents before she knew her husband. And so what I'm most curious about is, what was it like to get to know my Uncle Bruce? Because he is, he's exactly like my grandfather. He kind of looks like my grandfather. He acts like my grandfather. He acts like his brother, who is my dad, which can be shocking. So what was that all about?
Shocking is the best word to describe Bruce. So I am prefacing this with Bruce Fischer and I have been best friends for the last 8 years. I actually worked for Morgan's parents in the last 8 years in government. I used to drive Bruce around. I did all of his personal travels, but mostly we were just best friends. And I lived in DC with them for 6 years, not with them, but we both lived in DC. And then I moved back to Nebraska. And one of my jobs was I drove Bruce and Deb, Morgan's parents, my husband's parents, to the airport. One time, this is after years and years of knowing the Fischers, and I'm in the driver's seat, and Bruce is in the back seat, and Deb is in the passenger seat. And we pull up to the airport, and all of a sudden, I start hearing clanks just hitting all of my my drink cups in my car. And I'm like, Bruce, are those weapons? And he just goes, it's my favorite castrating knife. And this, and he just starts pulling out all these knives and he's putting them everywhere in my car. And I'm like, oh my God, Bruce. And he goes, they're not weapons, they're tools.
A quick interlude. My dad did the same thing at the airport one time. He got to the Omaha airport and had a knife and forgot about it. And he's the only guy in the history of the universe that could get away with this. And I think Bruce could probably get away with it too. But he actually had the security people usually just confiscate that stuff. But they actually held it. They actually held it for Dad, and he walked right up and they gave it back to him when he came back through.
You know what? Bruce was just so sick of Eppley Airfield, throwing away all of his knives. I think the dumpsters of Eppley Airfield are full of Bruce Fischer's quote unquote tools. And actually, I just got back from my honeymoon a week ago and we started going through TSA and Morgan pulls out a bunch of knives from his pocket and he's like, wait, what do I do with these? I'm like, are you kidding? It is 2021.
Well, the Cowboys, it's just a tool. It's not, they're not going to.
Yeah, it's a tool.
They're the last person on earth to freaking get somebody with that.
Oh, no, they don't use it for that. But Bruce with the knives. So we worked at the U.S. Capitol in D.C. And since he, is a VIP, he didn't have to go through any of the protocols of entering into the building. And so one time, I'm just sitting there and all of a sudden I couldn't open a package and my hands are next to the package and all of a sudden this whooshing sound happened and he just opens up my package with this big old knife and I'm like, Jesus, Bruce, you can't just do that.
Well, of course you can. He got the package open.
Well, Bruce is like, he's just the best human being in the entire world. I loved how Jack kind of described what he said Bill said cowboys are like, which, you know, you take pride in what you do, you care about this, and about planting trees for the future generations of fishers, like thinking about his family. And that is 100% Bruce, but he
Oh,
is
yeah.
the most no nonsense human being I've ever met. Like you try and like pull something over on Bruce and that will not fly. He'll
Well,
call you out. He'll call out the president of the United States in front of people and not even care.
yeah, and I don't know how far we can get into this, considering, we don't want this podcast to have to be vetted by the United States government, but let's just say that I know that Bruce and Deb, they have dinner with some very influential human beings in government, and I would die to be a fly in the wall in that conversation. I mean,
Oh my gosh.
I'm not going to miss
Well, it's a
it.
good thing that he can't really hear anymore.
Well, God bless him, because I think Bruce keeps us all grounded, so I think it's a good thing.
He does. He's the best guy besides my own dad, obviously, probably the best guy I've ever met. That's why we've been best friends for so long. And so, I mean, I was driving him back to Lincoln when I had to tell him that I started dating his son, obviously. And I was like, so I just wanted to let you know, I talked to Morgan now. And he goes, that's very nice of you, Vaughn. Thank you. And I go, no, like romantically. And he got the biggest smile on his face. I think he gave me like tons of gifts after that. Like he was like so excited. When I come to the ranch, I always went over to Bruce's house, which is now my house, and he'd always have pie and stuff like that. And now when I'm working cows, I mean, I was told before I moved out here that working cattle will bring out the worst in people. And like, people are yelling at the cows, they're like yelling at you. Like it's just a really vocal event.
Yes.
And
did it disappoint?
I'll just be no, and I'll just be sitting there, and the man who I love and is spending the rest of my life with is like chasing down this pregnant cow, screaming his head off. His brother is out somewhere else, like probably stuck in a ravine, and Bruce is like, "How you doing? Go get that cow, Vaughn." I'm like,
now, Steve, if you haven't had the pleasure of working cattle in the Fisher Corral, have you?
Oh, I haven't. I've seen a pregnant cow, and I've seen the ultrasound scan, and was covered in shit after that. They put the tent over you and said, "Look at this." Yeah, that's as far as I
But
got
that
with
wasn't
the cows.
the Powderhorn Ranch, was it?
Yes, it was. Just a year ago, they had him out there, and it was fascinating to see.
Was the veterinarian? Were they brake checking, Steve? I'm sorry, were they brake checking?
The veterinarian was there.
Oh, the veterinarian had the equipment. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so they go, come and take a look at this. You'll be fascinated. So, never seen it before in my life. I'm a city boy, and this was, between 10 and 15 years after I've ever been to that ranch. And I looked, and he goes, just to let you know, you might get some shit on your shoulder. I'm like, it'd be fine. Yeah, lo and behold, it happened.
Might.
Might.
It's funny. Heather, my wife, we watched this. It's on NeoNet, or I don't know. It's a really cool reality series about a veterinarian in Hardington, Nebraska, and they follow him around, and it's actually really cool. But they were castrating some llamas the other day, and they showed the whole thing, and Heather was freaked out. And I'm like, that's what I had to hold the leg while they were doing that. That was my job. And 9 times out of 10, if you get your balls cut off, you're going to shit your pants, right? So guess where their ass is, you're going to get, usually it's not solid form, it's liquidy, baby. And it comes out like a rocket. And guess who, and now you know why Sam had to hold the freaking leg. And Granddad was the one that, like, he put a little, like, antiseptic on. He had like this jar, like this, not a jar, but like a vase looking thing, and like shaking antiseptic on the testicles, and then it's just 2 cuts. You cut their sack open, and you pull the testicles right out of the sack, and pull it up and you're like, it's like you're milking something, and or you squeeze on it and pull, and another slash. There's just 2 slashes. But if you haven't seen that, clearly
Sam,
it can be alarming. You've been to branding, right, Vaughn?
no, Sam, I find that hilarious that Heather was freaked out because now it's your brother, Will, who's taking his favorite castrating knife, dumping it in the antiseptic, rip a very nice slice on the scrotum, and then yanking out the 2 red things, which are technically, I guess, the testicles, and just taking them off.
Yep.
But I will tell you, the first time working the corral was during this experience, the sunny slope. And I think your guys' ranch does the same thing where they do like a hydraulic clamp where it holds the calf.
Oh,
And
the calving table.
yeah. And Will, your brother, was like, "Hey, Vaughn, come over here and look at this." And I'm like, "Okay." And then, your nephew opened up their legs to look if they were a heifer or a bull.
Right.
And then Will came over, cut open their balls right in front of me. And then when he was holding his balls, he was like, "You like to eat Rocky Mountain oysters, don't you?" And I was like, "Yeah, I actually do." And he just taught me how to fillet the balls right there.
So you just take another cut, right? Yep.
Yeah.
It looks like
table.
it kind of looks like liverwurst, sort of, when it comes out. Right?
Oh yeah, I mean, it looked delicious. It was steaming, but then he threw me in the corral and he's like, "Okay, bring the calves back down to the chute." And I'm like, I don't think he understands. Like, the closest I've ever been to cattle before dating Morgan was with a fork.
Zoo.
Like, I have 0. Yeah, like I don't even think they have cows at the zoo. I have more than 0 experience. Like, I think I like my steaks medium rare, and that's it. But
And that's, if you're not you're only a cowboy if you like your steaks medium rare. That's what I've been told.
honestly,
That's correct. And Vaughn, I was proud of you, Vaughn, because you, in your story the other day, you said something about the ketchup analogy. We're freezing our balls out here to raise good beef. Don't be putting ketchup on your steak. And that's exactly right.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't believe if you go to a steakhouse and they offer you A1, it's not really a steakhouse,
No.
I learned that from my father-in-law. He, we ate tough steaks, well done steaks in England, and we loved them. Now,
you guys are known for really great food over there, aren't you?
Oh, in our minds, they're delicious. The best thing.
They are
I
very
still
well done.
Go back to eating that food.
But they're
they are.
That was an English thing.
I sat down at a restaurant with JB, and I ordered my steak, and I ordered medium well because I thought I was venturing into the cowboy side. JB looked at me and goes, "You really going to eat that?" Because his daughter-in-law likes them well done. I know that for a fact. His daughter-in-law is a rancher's wife, and that to me is bizarre. But anyway, going back to the JB thing, my daughter-in-law, he said, my daughter likes well-done steaks. And I said, well, what's wrong with that? That's what I grew up with. That's the way I ate it. Anyway, he converted me. He made me eat it medium rare, and I haven't looked back since. I think that's why I'm the hybrid. I'm heading towards the cowboy stage. It's taken a long time to get. And
it's an acquired taste.
It is. I enjoy it now more than anything. Every time I throw steaks on the grill, man, gonna go medium rare. If you go anything more than that, you're in problems. You're in problems there.
Absolutely, that's good.
Yeah.
So it's interesting you mentioned. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say about JB. Like going back, like when I first met him, straight to the point. He's loyal. Cowboys are loyal, and they're straight to the point. They don't care about what they say, how you say it. At the end of the day, you respect it and you agree with it. You start to begin to agree with what they say. I used a lot of his terminology even today, and Trisha thought she got away from it. But now I bring it back, and even my 6-year-old son is now talking like his granddad. It's fascinating.
That's so funny. I have a joke where, like, Bruce, my father-in-law, I can't be in a room with him for like too long because he'll start making sense.
Oh, I get that. I mean, we used to go there to his house for a weekend, and the breakfast table would get there at 8. We'd leave the breakfast table at 11 because we're talking. And he always said, I have something to say. And a lot of people didn't want to listen, but I did. It made sense. Everything made sense. For those that know him, wow, just a character. And
Yeah.
it sounded like bringing knives to the airport. He always told me, he goes, what you need to be in this family, you need a notepad and a pocket knife and a handkerchief.
Yep.
And he had all three of them.
Yep.
I didn't do it.
And a t-shirt. T-shirt for us, it was t-shirt, handkerchief, and pocket knife. Yes.
Yes, I know what the t-shirt was for as well.
Even in the summer, we were to wear a t-shirt. Like, okay. What's funny, you guys were talking, brought to mind a story that I'd like to tell. I actually told at his funeral, and that is how shocking it kind of is. Like, Vaughn, you kind of got into it, met the Fischers in a different way, and Steve, Trisha briefed you on what it was going to be all about. And I always brief people. I brief my friends. I brief whoever if they're going to meet my dad for the first time, because it's alarming if you're not used to it. I mean, it's just a simple brief. I mean, it's like he's a bit of a close talker, and he's got a really gravelly voice. He's going to use his hands a lot. He's going to cuss a lot, and but he's absolutely harmless. I mean, his the bark is not as mean as his bite or whatever. So I've always briefed people, and I think they appreciated that. You try not to scare people, but you should, as a courtesy, brief them. Well, my brother Will never did brief his future wife Gina the first time, and I was there. I witnessed this. Brief her on Dad, and it's like, oh, good. I mean, you got to brief people on, but he didn't. And the story goes, as I recall it, is that Gina was a very successful hairdresser, ran her own salon in Lincoln, downtown Lincoln, and she did very well. But she was stylish, and she had, I think, 2 or 3 earrings in one of her ears, and she had big loop earrings. And the first thing literally the first 30 seconds of her meeting her future father-in-law, he said to her, what did he say about? He said something about, what the hell? Like, what did he say about the earrings, Steve? I can't remember what he said specifically, but he said something about the earrings. It was totally like, oh my Lord. I can't remember. Anyway, but what he did say is he looked at the fact that she had three piercings, and he goes, I could take a cow tag and do that one time. Only takes one time. You don't need to do it 3 times. And Gina obviously she was in for, it's like, well, welcome. This is Will's dad, and he doesn't mean a thing by it, but you've got to freaking brief people. And Gina was so taken back, and I kind of looked at Will and I said, did you not brief her on Dad? He's like, no. I'm like, good Lord, you've got to brief people.
I was certainly briefed on that, and I actually took a large portion of my family to the ranch, and
that was a great
to meet JB, and I told him all about him. I said, I don't know how you're going to respond to him. He's a cowboy, and he will tell you straight exactly what it is, and he'll be abrupt, and he'll be kind. He's a loving man. No harm.
Bruce Fischer means no harm, right, Vaughn? Vaughn. Says that she's on here.
Is she on mute?
No.
I just say that. I don't know a damn thing about this. I just say, is she on mute, because everyone says that on Zoom. You're on mute?
She's not on mute. Now she's on mute. Stand by. Look at my cell phone. There. I just texted her. She did drop off. Good old ranch technology. I thought she would at least laugh.
That's right.
Trying to remember those, Steve. What did Dad say about those big earrings? Those. Oh, I think he said something like they could fit elephant ears or something. I mean, like implying that she's fat. What was it? It was like, dang it, I can't remember.
The one I've heard him say is, I use it today. I said, anyone with a ring in their nose, I said, well, they deserve to be in the field. And, like you put it there like a bull. So, and he said that once to me before. He goes, you see these people with a nose ring? Well, I can hook up a rope to that and keep it still.
Okay. Keep that thought, as we have to go back. Okay, here she is. Vaughn Wehr's connecting audio.
Isn't that a bit rude?
Did you miss
bars, and it just kicked me off.
Did you hear the story about first time my dad met Gina?
Yeah, yep. I heard all of that. Did you hear me start talking?
And then I was going to ask, so we'll go back to editing here. Okay, so 3, 2, 1. So Vaughn, Bruce is harmless, right? I mean, means no harm.
he is the nicest man in the entire world. I mean, the funny thing about Bruce is you'll be sitting in the car having a heart-to-heart talking about life after death, and then all of a sudden he'll pull out a gun from nowhere and shoot a coyote on the side of the road. You're just like, what?
And you
But,
just called it coyote. You're an egghead. You just called it
they're
coyote.
trying. I am going to stay a little bit Omaha. They're trying to make me call coyotes coyotes, trucks pickups. Like they're trying to change me, but I know.
I give it 2 years.
But another thing they're trying to. Oh yeah. The other thing they're trying to change me, like getting to that, is I call it ranch talk. So like they don't speak in complete sentences, and every other word is fuck.
And you are to be a mind reader. And not only are you to be a mind reader, you are to be a mind reader right fucking now. Because you're probably in the middle of a corral with
like
cattle stampeding at you, and you're at the wrong fucking place, and you set the gates the wrong fucking way, and you're gonna get your fucking ass chewed out.
Yeah.
And you know how to fight back.
No,
so your defense mechanism to that is what? I mean, you just laugh at them, right?
Well, no, the first time I cursed. So last time
that's what you have to do. You have to swing back, Vaughn. You have to say, fuck you, you don't know shit.
A rancher come at you? It is not something you can just be like, oh, God.
You and I will have a few glasses of...
Well,
someday you'll get me to have a few glasses of something, and I'll tell you some stories. But yeah, I mean, it's not for the weak.
Oh yeah, well, it's not. So they're trying, Morgan and my husband's yelling at me. I'm obviously doing all of the things wrong, but he's telling me I'm doing it wrong by what the fuck? Like, and I'm like, Morgan, that's not directions. Like, I don't know what to do with that kind of feedback. You know what I mean? Like,
you are to interpret it, and you are to interpret it right now, and you have to fake it till you make it, and you have to yell back louder. It's just the best advice I can offer. Now, I haven't been in a Fisher corral since the late '80s, so.
My whole thing is I'm looking at the past experience, and I'm like, okay, discussion during the moving is not working for me. So before this last time we moved, like the cattle from the forest back to the ranch, I was like, Morgan, like you have to say things to me in complete sentences. Like you can't ranch talk me. I don't know what you mean. And so he's like, okay, just figure it out. And I'm like, that clearly is not working. So this last time, like, I've gotten the feedback that I'm not as observant as I need to be. I need to look around. I need to whatever. So I'm looking around, and all of a sudden Morgan pulls up to me, and I'm like, oh my God, did I miss a cow? And then all of a sudden he goes, you see me? And I look at him and I go, yeah. And he goes, okay. And I'm like, what do you want? And he just ran away. And I was like, that was weird. So then at the end of that, he goes, Vaughn, did you see me when I pulled up to you? I'm like, yeah, I'm not like an idiot. He goes, when someone pulls up to you, you fucking look at them and you fucking have to see what they want to say, even if they don't have anything to fucking say. And I'm like, wait, are you mad at me? He's like, no, why?
Boy, you'll be like that person.
And you all have been married how long? 2 weeks?
God, it feels like years. 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
No, I'm kidding. We're absolutely in love, and it's great. But you see it with Bruce too. Like when they talk to each other, they go, Hills. They're like, but the gate, and they're like, and then there's silence for about 10 minutes, and then they'll be like, we'll get that pasture and the bulls, and I'm like, what? I'm like, did we just have a full-on discussion? And Morgan was like, we're going to go open the gate to move the pasture, move the bulls so the cows can go in there, and then the heifers will have gate 4 open. And I'm like, okay.
Hey, Vaughn, were you thrown into the deep end?
Well, okay, so Morgan is trying to show me the romantic parts of the ranch at first, we'd go on long drives. We'd see the babies. We'd see the cows, and it was so romantic. And then
it was good, of course.
Oh, and then when you witness a birth, first birth, it was like a breech. So first off, Morgan when they say, oh, I got to take the cow to the barn, I always think of you going up to a cow and being like, oh, you're having issues. Let's go to the barn now. And you both walk to the barn, right?
No.
It is like the most intense thing to get one cow into a tiny little barn. It is like you're wrangling them, right? So after they're wrangled and they don't want to be in the barn, and then you like, set them up, and then all of a sudden Morgan undresses, like, like anything scandalous that happens later. And he dresses in like the entire plastic outfit. And then I watched the man that I was falling in love with enter inside of a cow. Like both hands inside of a cow, like just like the noises I can't even describe. And like all of a sudden he pulls out the legs, right? And he takes this like chain thing from the wall and he chains
Break
the
it
legs.
up, baby.
Yeah, and I'm looking at him, and then he chains the chain, and then he ties the chain to this rope, and then he swings this rope onto a door, and he opens the door, or he closes the door, and I go, oh my God, like a tooth? He goes, what? And swings the door open, and then out pops the calf, and I'm like, ah!
Along with some placenta, etc. after birth, and then the dog takes it. Then Daphne takes it and runs off. That probably hasn't happened yet, but it will.
I saw. They call the ranch dogs the fellas. One time I heard a fella scratching at the door. I opened the door, and there's this chocolate lab standing by the doorway with this massive placenta hanging out of his mouth, and I was like, that thing used to scare me.
That's all completely. I've been in this family for 14, 15 years. That's all new to me. I've never seen such a thing. I would go and stay at the ranch
right now. You'll see it.
You know what? We're having calves in 2 weeks. You need to come and you need to witness
I think they're dropping already on the Powderhorn.
Insanity.
All right, guys, move cows to a different field.
So, Vaughn, you haven't done calving season yet, have you? Like a whole calving season?
When Morgan and I were dating, I'd come up and watch it. Yeah, so I've seen the nitty gritty. Like, I mean, they have to go out to the pasture at least every 2 hours, and they're out in the pasture checking things. If things are right for hours and hours. Like they get zero sleep. They're dirty. They don't know what time or day it is.
It's a very mood altering experience also, just to warn you. I mean, I'll be honest, I dreaded calving every single year. Because my dad was a high stress person. Imagine that, a Fisher, a high stress person. It was not, it's an ugly couple of months. So just, it's tough.
Yeah,
it is tough work for 99.9% of my listeners. They have no idea how hard the calving season is on a rancher, because it's ultimately it's money in the bank, number one. So the stress to make sure those babies are alive it's high. Every time you see a dead calf,
well,
that's money that's down the toilet. But just the hours that you work, the conditions in which you work, and I'm hoping your winter gets a little more mild here, because it's all about the weather. If you have good weather, it's a breeze. But if you have bad weather, forget it. It's a whole new animal. I mean, when you can't see 2 feet in front of your face, it's a problem.
Yeah. Well, so when I came out here while we were dating, it was always nice weather, and even that's stressful because I would go out with Morgan, and by the time like night would hit, I was so exhausted. I'm like, because you're just going around and like nothing happens for hours, and then all of a sudden like 10 cows are giving birth at the same time, and like 2 are breech and one's having issues. I mean, it's like people, you know what I mean? If you think of how many people need like hundreds of pounds of cows who are in pain and upset and don't know what's going on, So then that's great conditions. And then by the time night hit, I was like, good night, Morgan. And I went to bed, and he still went out there all night and all day the next day. And then when you have bad weather, the calves are born and they're wet. So, cows are really sturdy animals. They have that insulated fat to keep them warm. Well, calves are born wet and they don't have that fat yet. And they have to get that creatine from the cow's milk within the first hour, or else like they're going to be sickly. I know.
Wow. Listen to that. No, I saw your.
I know how to eat a cow, but that's about it.
You what?
That's it. I only know how to eat a cow. I don't. What you've discussed there is like, wow. How long have you been on the ranch now, Vaughn?
I mean, it's been a little over a year now that I've been coming out here, and I've lived on the ranch for 5 months. But like calving season, I'm really kind of dreading it. One, because of the furniture. Morgan's just going to come in dirtier than hell, like covered in poop, and he's not going to want to take his clothes off. So like I bought a bunch of sheets, put on the couches, because I can't yell at him. Could you imagine me like with my naggingness?
No, I can't. I cannot imagine that. Please don't. Please don't do that.
I mean, Sam, I am a neat freak. You cannot be a neat freak on a ranch.
So let it go.
Very challenging.
Let it go.
I know.
Okay, so we've talked about shocking. So, Steve, what is the most shocking thing that you've experienced? I mean, is there anything like crazy, shocking that you'd like to share with our listeners about meeting the Fischers or the ranch life or any of that stuff?
Yeah, being put to work. You know, I was a very, you could laugh what you want, Vaughn.
Like, yeah, you come to visit, you're working. That's your vacation.
Right. You know, I'd arrive there, I'd get, is either your dad or my brother-in-law Will on his ranch. He would say to me, okay, you get in at midnight into Valentine, and because first thing he'd say to me is, all right, we need to be up 7 o'clock in the morning because I need you to move cattle to another field. But he convinced me that it'd be fun because we jump on four-wheelers, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a city boy. I've never been on a four-wheeler before. And he gave me the basics and how to operate it. And he goes, just stay behind the cattle. I had the greatest time of my life. But yes, it was work. Because when I drove a 6-hour drive into Valentine, what I want to do when I get there, and I've been trying to keep myself awake driving, so I've had plenty of these energy drinks. Well, I got to crack open a few years before I settle down again. So that happened, and honestly, I appreciate that. It was shocking at first, but I appreciate it. Another thing is I'd arrive at my father-in-law's house in away from the ranch, and the very first thing he would do, he goes, oh, I need, after the 3-hour talk in the morning around the breakfast table, he goes, oh, come outside. I need to show you something. Well, he showed me a ladder. He showed me a ladder and he said, climb up that, get on the roof and shovel off the snow. So I ended up doing that. And that was the very first time I ever met him. And I know, like, okay, I'm more than happy to help you. But yeah,
it's a fun place to visit, Valentine, Nebraska, Cherry County, our ranch, and it's fun. And I enjoy taking friends out there. But I do tell people, I say, this is not an amusement park. This is not a Springfield. This is not, I mean, you may, we have got to, if my brother needs help, we're going to help him. That's just the way it is. Yep. I mean, it's not fun and games. It's enjoyable to go out there but it's not, this is real. This is not an amusement park. This is not, we're not giving paid tours. You're going to have to shovel the snow off the roof, or you're going to have to move cattle within 5 minutes notice, or you're going to have to do whatever. That's just the way it is. And
I had a good view.
Yeah, exactly. And you brought your family out there, and I know they enjoyed it. It was a great weekend. Now, Vaughn, you've had your family out to the ranch. What was their impression?
Yes, I was just going to say, so my dad and brothers came out, and they were like, what are we going to do? And I'm like, I don't know. Let me think of fun stuff to do. And as soon as they got here, Morgan was like, put on your boots. So that's always his thing with me. He'll come into the house. He's like, Vaughn, put on your boots, which means I need to go to work, which he fails to remember that I actually have a day job that I get paid for. But I'm like, I can't. But my brothers came out, and, when they came out here, he was feeding while we went around opening fences. Obviously my dad loved it. He was so proud of himself that he could open and close the fences by himself, which is like a big test.
Good for him. That's the ultimate test.
Yeah.
And I warned you about that, didn't I, Vaughn? I said, here's what's going to happen. Now, all my advice I gave you, did it come to fruition?
I tried to. So these fences, okay, Sam told me right when I first started dating Morgan, which I also knew Sam Fischer before I started dating my husband. And when I saw Sam, I went on 2 dates with Morgan, and I saw Sam at a Christmas party in Omaha, and I ran up to him and I was like, Sam, guess who I'm dating? And Sam was shocked, to say the least. He was like, "You are dating Morgan Fisher." And I'm like, "Yeah, he's into it, I swear." Sam told me to impress Morgan, I should open the gates for him when we come up to a gate. Okay, so I'm wearing like a tight outfit, some shorts, like trying to impress Morgan, which I think when he saw me, he was like, "You idiot, what are you wearing?" Right? And I get out of the car. Oh yeah. Well, I thought that I'm like, this is what ranch girls wear, right? No, apparently only in the movies with Jessica Simpson. But I go to open up the gate, and these are like engineering miracles. Like, I don't understand what they do to close and open these gates. Barbed wire, clips, chains, some metal like bent in weird ways. And I'm like, how the hell do you open this?
I was the same, Vaughn. They asked me to open a gate, and I'm thinking, well, just the latch, lift it up, open it. No, I got to pull a stick back to get the barbed wire out of the way. And I'm like, no.
And while you're pulling the stick back, you're like, wait, is this going to spring back and hit me in the face?
Yeah.
And the answer is yes. Deb Fisher, Morgan's mom, Bruce's wife, told me, you better be careful with those gates because they'll crack your jaw open. And I'm like,
well, that's a nice warning. Okay. Well, my dad
gets out here.
Go ahead.
What? When my dad gets out here, I was like, Dad, to impress Morgan, you should figure out how to open the gate. I'm giving him no advice, right? Like, not that he's in danger, because, like, I think you should just assume you're always in danger here. And so I went around opening gates. My brother, he is not a working boy, I will say. He is like, a 23-year-old nurse assistant, gay kid from Omaha. And I had him opening gates and everything. So it was just like, it was pretty awesome. I think they all went to bed by 8 p.m.
The gate thing it's kind of it's a traditional thing because it's just, it's not that hard. But on the other hand, if you've never done it, you're like, what is this? And my dad would always, actually, the podcast after this one will tell the story, but I had my college roommate out to the ranch, and he'll tell the story of opening a gate for the first time. Because first of all, you pull up you're riding in the pickup shotgun, and there's dad's the driver, and you stop at the gate, and the guy in the passenger side just, whistling Dixie. I don't know what the hell's going on. Like, get the gate. That's the first thing out of their mouth. Get the gate. Okay, so he gets out to get the gate. And then he got the gate open. It's just shutting it seems to be the big problem. And, it's
Right.
Dad every single time. Dad's like, it's a lever. It's a fucking lever. The caveman had a lever. Don't you understand the lever? And that's just the way it goes down. So anybody that goes to the Powderhorn and Sunny Slope now, I dare you to do it. It sounds all funny and this and that, but if you can open and shut it without instruction, then you get a star in your helmet, right? So
Bruce's favorite thing is to tell city people or eggheads to open and close the gate, right? And he will drive somebody out to a gate to make them do it. And he told me that he goes, yeah, they can open the son of a bitch after a while, but then they try and close it, and they close it on the wrong side. So because they want to close it the way they opened it. So then they'll close it again and be on the wrong side of the fence. And Bruce is like, they're just a bunch of, eggheads.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing, a little secret, shouldn't be giving out family secrets, but where you clip the clip, when you shut it, most people will probably do the top wire or the second wire or third wire. And I can't remember which one. Will on our ranch has a specific place. And it's something Dad taught him. I think it's the second or third wire down. I should know, I guess. But the reason for that is, if poachers came through or hunters or whatever, people don't belong there. And, as my dad was telling Will to do this, he just looks at Will and goes, shit happens. It just happens to some people more than others. So get the freaking wire where it's supposed to go, the clip on the wire. What do you think, you guys think marrying Fisher could be a TV reality series, Steve?
Oh, hands down.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you put me on there, it would be a train wreck. I try to learn, like I said, 15 years. Still, I know how a cowboy works. I know how they talk. I know how they're to the point. But yeah, it'll be ratings. It'll be a ratings hit because they'll be seeing someone city boy like myself trying and trying and trying and appreciating everything, but failing. It would be a train wreck.
You haven't failed in marrying my sister. I mean, she's not a cowboy. She's not a rancher, but she's a fisher. So,
She's better.
you know, I mean, how was that? You know, we're really going to dig deep here, folks. But how was that? What kind of adjustments did you have to make marrying my sister? She's pretty blunt, right?
What I noticed. I'm sorry.
She's pretty blunt.
Oh yeah. She's blunt, and you know, I've grown to understand her way of thinking. I hear, you know, you said your dad had a gravelly voice and talk like that, and everything. She talks like that. I've known you talk like that. I've known your brother Will talk like that, and it's just funny to me. And I've began to accept it and deal with her. She often say she's blunt. Not my pig, not my farm. So that's another cowboy saying. I'm like, what do you mean by that? He goes, well, you know, I'm like, yes, you're probably aware what it means, but you know, it's not my business, none of my business. But I'll tell you what I think, and you know, that's kind of one of the things I've had to learn to deal with. And like I said, I you know, I got a 6-year-old son, and there's stuff that comes out of his mouth now that is pure cowboy. It's, you know, blunt to the point, and it's funny. It's funny. It's just like a reincarnation of.
Is that really so bad? Is that really so bad, Steve? I mean, obviously you don't want him to use some of the curse words of the cowboy, but is it really so bad that maybe he's got some cowboy code in it?
Yeah. I mean, we've done a few Zoom meetings during this whole pandemic crisis, and there's siblings that have cussed on the. And like I said, my 6-year-old's standing there, and I'm like, you need to cut that out a little bit, but it happens, and luckily he hasn't picked up on it yet. But I'm sure he will. It's just the way he is. I mean, it's a different life for me now. I've adapted. I'm enjoying it. It's putting up with my wife's bluntness. It's
putting up with the rest of the family. It's even at Vaughn's wedding. I remember saying to you. Now, of course, I had a couple things to drink, but anyway, I said, "We sure do make fun of you, but I sure do like you being our family." That's well, young man.
I feel like I've achieved my ambitious life. I have. It's good. It's good. I'm happy. So I got great siblings. I enjoy their company, and not to put smoke up your ass, but you're a pretty good man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. It's
smell the smoke.
It's everywhere.
So Vaughn, I was gonna ask you the same thing. You know, would the Marrying Fisher be a TV reality series? But in fact, it kind of already is on your Instagram account. So.
Well, can I just say, like, it's twofold with it. It's like the ranch part, which I know they made a TV series kind of trying to show you what ranch life is like, which kind of gives you a good glimpse. But like, I do things that I would never know about, never see. It always shocks me. It's crazy lifestyle out here, and it's awesome. Like, I mean, watching hundreds of cattle go over a bridge and across a busy street is like just amazing. But then
the damn thing is cool.
And then like the other day, the neighbor's cows broke through the fence and like all got in my front yard, or whatever you want to call it, on my driveway and stuff. And like, I mean, just like tens and tens of cows. So I let my little dog, I got a mini golden doodle, rush out and bark at them. And it's like
hilarious.
Oh my God. And then Morgan's like,
about on Instagram.
Yeah, and Morgan's like, God damn it, Vaughn, they're not supposed to be there.
Yard, get them off.
Trying to like push all these like tens and tens of cows back where they belong. I didn't stop recording. It was too funny. But then you got like the Fishers. So my first time actually really seeing everybody together was your Aunt Nadine's funeral. And we all went to Valentine. Steve wasn't there. but it was the first time I met Trisha, and we all go to your brother Will's house. And so I'm just surrounded by Fischers at this point, right? And it is just like, I'm a girl who enjoys pleasantries. Like, I'm just like, how are you? I heard, like, how's your dog doing? You know, like, is there anything you saw in the news that you'd like to discuss?
Sisters aren't really
like,
good on small talk. I'm not.
Oh my God. Trisha just walks right up to Gina. Yeah, Trisha walks right up to Gina and she goes, so where the fuck do you want us to eat? I mean, you can take her out of the ranch, but she's still a ranch girl. She's definitely still a cowboy.
Oh,
So
for sure.
I'm sitting here, you know, like people are, you know, like especially Sam Fischer telling me, you know, like, oh my God, Morgan? Like, I mean, I've known you for years and I know like that's just your genuine shock and you're not going to hide it. But like when I went to a party with a bunch of ranchers, I mean, they are all like that. Like one guy was now like, ranchers always look at what other ranchers are doing, right? And they'll all be like, did you see Bob? He doesn't have his hay up yet. I don't know what the fuck he's thinking. Like, I mean, you could just put a microphone in that party and just be like, what is going on around me? Like, these people are. And then
That's
one
ranch
girl in the
talk,
corner
small
was
talk.
talking about a calf that. Oh, yeah, that's the best small talk I saw with ranch talk is this one woman was in the corner talking about a calf that was just born with a hoof sticking out of its neck. And I was like, wait, so how many legs does this calf have? And she's like, well, 5, looking at me like I'm a fucking idiot because she just said it's got a leg sticking out of its neck. I'm like,
There you go.
weren't you listening?
Wedding where that woman goes over and says, I had a lump or whatever, and yes, it's my twin. Remember that?
God, but instead of like bodily ailments, it's about like their calves and their cows. Like I went to a girls' night last night and they're all a bunch of ranch wives. And this one ranch wife was like, it's like that 2-headed calf that my grandpa had. And I'm like, I'm like, you guys should have a museum of like,
Well, I mean,
you know,
probably one in, well, Morgan or Will have a better idea on this, but I mean, I've probably in the, 15 or 16 years I was on the ranch during calving, I think we had probably 2 or 3 2-headed calves. It'll happen. You go through enough. It's a numbers game.
Also, I mean, I saw only normal calves last year, so I feel, well, I did see some other shocking things, but like I won't get into graphic detail here. But
not that we have already.
I haven't seen like, what are those called? I know. I mean, you know what? I'll save the prolapse uterus story for the next podcast, right?
Yeah, that's a dandy. And I'll tell you, have you seen a C-section yet, Vaughn?
I don't think I can. I almost passed out last time.
Well, I'll be the first to admit that I saw a C-section once, and I don't want to see another one. I just can't handle it. I mean, I'm just, I mean, because they're literally lumping the guts up on the side of the cow, and then they go, I mean, it's like, whoa, it's something to see.
Well, it's crazy because my cousin just gave birth to a human. She was telling me about her C-section, and I was like, oh, I heard with cows, like they do this. And she's like, well, I'm a person. I confuse it.
Well, I don't think it's much different, but that's why you probably wouldn't want to look at it.
That's what Morgan's finding out. We're trying right now. And he's like, well, I know with calves or cows. I'm like, Morgan, stop.
Oh, my. Well, guys, this has been a lot of fun.
Maybe you can use that part.
Oh, I have the power of censorship. You guys have anything else you want to?
Let's see. You don't have to cut this bit out as well, 'cause I'm trying to think now. Thought you had the questions.
Oh, well, I mean.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, like, when Morgan and I started dating, you know how you do those, like, stupid little questions just to get to know each other?
Yeah.
And I was like, what superpower would you have? Mine would be, like, ESP or mind reading or something. And Morgan goes, yeah, I'd control the weather. And I just started laughing because what a freaking stupid superpower to have.
No,
right?
It is not stupid. It's awesome.
And now I'm like, oh my God, his life is ruled by the weather. Like apparently it was raining one time and I go, ew, it's raining. And he goes, why? Is it going to ruin your fucking picnic?
I love it. Yeah, there's a reason the weather channel's on 24/7 there. I mean, yeah.
Right?
That's what I experienced. Every time I go to the ranch, the weather channel will be on, and it would be 24/7 of Weather Channel.
And they're all
Well,
interested in it, like
Yeah.
all day.
well, it
Okay,
affects your
that's
life.
right.
It affects your life every day of it.
Yeah, but
Well, and it was incredible. We were bailing. So like we're out in the field and you bail until like 4 a.m. So start around like noon when it starts getting hot. And then you're just baling hay. So making like, those big hay bales. They're like 1,200 pounds, I think. And it's like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. where the secrets come out. That's when Morgan got a little loose lipped. It was like my favorite. It was our bail parties. And all of a sudden I see like this massive storm. I'm talking like I've never seen so much lightning, and like these clouds were like horrifying every time lightning would light up the sky. And I'm like, get me the hell out of here. Like I'm going to die in this baler. And Morgan's like, we got a while. And I'm starting to like panic, right? So finally I start going, I don't want to lose my cool, but get me the fuck out of here. And Morgan's like, Vaughn, that storm is like 50 miles away. And I'm like, no way. Like
Well,
I
Vaughn,
can see you 50 miles away.
I've raked hay, and I saw lightning probably within a half a mile of me. I saw a lightning strike. So until you've seen lightning strike, you're fine. That's the standard on the Fisher place.
Yeah.
hey, Vaughn,
Yeah.
has your personality changed ever since you've been a rancher?
Oh my God, I'm so much hardcore. Like, I mean, when I first got on the ranch, I accidentally stepped in poop and I was like, oh my God, right? And now I basically bathe in it.
Correct.
Yeah. You become stronger. You can't become,
You sit down your leg and go on, like the lesson from the last podcast, right?
Yeah, that's right. The main reason for the pocket knife is to cut your pocket out of your pants. So you can use it for certain reasons. It's like you find a way to fix things to help you.
Yes, Morgan got all of my brother's pocket knives for like a wedding gift.
That is like
that's
an honor.
a bunch of city kids. You're getting a bunch of city kids a knife. Like they don't understand the magnitude of it. So like as soon as Morgan went away, I was like, you guys, this is like a huge deal. Okay, Bruce just pulled up beside me and I showed him I was on the phone and he's still standing there like, yeah, well, I'm here now. You're talking to me. So
Yeah.
so much, Sam. This has been wonderful.
Yeah. So I had a fun little question I'm gonna ask before we wrap up.
Oh, okay.
And that is, now we've talked about this, I want each of you to describe 3 words, just 3 words to describe what it's like marrying into a cowboy family. Steve?
Difficult.
Okay.
3 words. All right. Second word, I'd say loyal. Just the loyalty there.
Like the word.
And also, when needed, you become independent. And it's helped me a great deal in my life. I mean, honestly, it was just, I didn't have a tough upbringing, but I had an easy upbringing. It was just, everything was done for me. It was just the way it was. And since I married into the ranching family, I feel like, I'm independent. I'm loyal. The 3 words I used, that's me in a nutshell right now. And it's good.
I love it. That's good. It is really good.
And I don't know if that converts me into a cowboy or not. I don't know, but I don't know. Your brother on his ranch avoids me sometimes because he doesn't want me to help in a way. He's doing it because I'm his brother-in-law. Honestly, he'll look at that and go, "Nah, you're too much of a city kid to know what to do properly." I'm like, okay. So I'm all right because they're not trying to find.
You can return the favor. It's okay.
Yeah, I say, come to England, Will. I'll show you. See if you can live my life.
I'm in his place. Yeah.
Absolutely. Vaughn, you got 3 words?
Yes. Intense. Like everything is intense. So
good word.
It's either the work.
Love it.
Yes. It's either the worker's intense or it's like intense waiting. I'll sit in a car waiting, just waiting. And that's intense. Like, I mean, it's just all around intense, but it's also, okay, so that's 1. 2 would be exhilarating. It's like, I mean, getting on that 4-wheeler or that bike and chasing cows, like, it's just so fun. I mean, it can be stressful. Obviously, I cried 2 times ago, but it's really exhilarating. Everything's exhilarating. But then I think 3 is just really integrity. I mean, there's no cutting corners here. Like sometimes they like to kind of say, oh, well, I just, I barely fixed that fence. But it's like you look at it and you're like, no, the fence is completely fixed. Like you're just, I mean, there's as much as you do, there's always more to do. So it's like you just have integrity to do all of the things that you need to do. And yeah, there's not enough hours in the day or enough help ever. And you're always feeling like you're underwater. But at the end of the day, you're producing happy calves. The cows are well fed and happy. I mean, you got a number that's like kind of overwhelming to think about how many bulls you have, which apparently when you ask somebody how many they have, which you're not supposed to, but if you do, they'll only tell you the number of cows that they have. They don't count the bulls or the calves. They just count the number of cows that are like moms.
Yeah, and people understand that. Listeners, please don't go to Valentine or ask somebody how many cattle they run, because it's like asking you how much money do you have in your bank. Just don't do that. I mean, if you want to ask an interesting question, ask them how many windmills they have. Because it's. I mean, so
I've asked that.
Don't do that. I mean, just don't do it. They do it anyway, and it drives me crazy.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, I've asked that question many times and been put in my place many times. And then my brother came out, another, not used to the ranching world. He asked the same thing, and I went, "Shit, shut up."
Yeah, you've got to brief people. You've got to brief your relatives. Just don't do that. Just please don't. Do that. If you learn anything from this podcast, don't do that.
That's right.
And being like, oh, what do you do? They're like, I'm an accountant, and you go, oh, well, what's your salary? Like that's literally what you're asking when you ask a rancher how many.
Don't do it. Please don't do that.
Yes.
Hey guys, this has been awesome. It's been a lot of fun, and maybe we can do a part 2 sometime. Maybe a year down the road, Vaughn will have more stories. One of the things that you get as a guest, by the way, this will be my little plug for my swag, but if anybody out there wants some Cowboys Not Eggheads merchandise, we have shirts. We have 18-ounce coffee mugs. They're very practical. We have big decals for your truck that you can put up that are cool. And we have hats, camel hats. But any guest on this show gets their choice of free swag. So, Steve, what would you like me to ship you?
I'll have a coffee mug, please.
Okay, 1 mug for Steve. What do you want? They're Big Vaughn.
Okay, well, are you calling me big because I've gained weight after my honeymoon? I have. Okay, no.
Oh my God.
I need a hat. That is what ranchers need. So I need a hat. And then I also need a t-shirt. So as many of those. Yeah. I'll take pictures of myself in them. And
I might have to charge you for these things, but okay. And Vaughn, the reason I actually called you Big Vaughn is because it doesn't have anything to do with your size. It has to do with how I actually feel about you as a person.
Oh,
I swear to you.
I just want to plug that I still have my wedding weight. I swear.
Here we go back to the Valley Girls.
Hey, man. A cowboy is always blunt and to the point.
Yeah,
it doesn't mean to be.
Big does not mean like weight-wise. It means like you're in my family now and you're important.
Oh,